Greetings, schools, and welcome to another dive into horror television. Tonight we're going back to 1989 for one of the best episodes of The Hitchhiker, titled Shadow Puppets. Kids of the 80s may find this one wicked, radical, righteous, or perhaps even bitchin'. This one is mental, so please enjoy it and let me know what you think in the comments. In the opening scene, we meet our main character, Helen, played by Miriam Sear. She also had a role in the 1998 movie Species 2. The character Helen is having a rough decade. Lights dull and flicker off around her, and there's a scary noise happening. We learn Helen has been in and out of mental hospitals for 7 years. A group of doctors discuss her history, but only one doctor will treat her, and that's Dr. Winters. He has high hopes that he can help Helen overcome her troubling symptoms. Helen and her mother are seated with Dr. Winters. We learn some backstory. For one, Helen's father died right before her symptoms began. The doctor asks for some alone time with the patient now. They take a walk in the garden. Helen has trouble explaining why there are cuts all over her body. Everyone around her seems to think it's self-inflicted, but she swears she isn't cutting herself. However, the doctor finds it strange that she doesn't have a good explanation for how she is getting cut. The meeting ends there, and the doctor goes back to his office. He doesn't realize one of his patients is already in there waiting for him. Her name is Natalie, and she's quite the character. Natalie is high in neuroticism, and her mood swings are very intense in this scene. She says she's been doing great, and she's ready to go home, and then only a moment later she threatens to kill herself and starts crying to the doctor. This is when Dr. Winters and Natalie kiss, which is very unethical, as I'm sure many of you know. Mental health professionals cannot have an equitable relationship with a current patient, as the power dynamic is clearly in favor of the doctor. In Helen's next session with the doctor, she opens up to him about the monster that haunts her. It's inside her, it hurts her, and it hurts people around her. Helen said it killed her father for loving her. Later on, they're playing chess, and she's winning. He wants her to come closer so he can touch her. The next day, Helen was supposed to have a meeting with Helen and her mom, but her mother didn't show up. She must be very busy. Helen is devastated and storms out crying. This gives Natalie the chance to slink in, ready for some loving. Actually, this time she starts yelling and trying to beat the doctor a little. Guess what he does? You know. And we aren't the only ones who are to witness his indecent acts this time. Helen can't friggin' believe this. Only a moment later, and the monster is there. The lights dim and waves, and there's a noise. We can't see the monster, but we can see the scratches. She got screwed up pretty bad here. Natalie is appalled by the doctor assisting the passed out Helen. The next day, Natalie is found dead out back in the pond. Very sad. So the doctor looks pretty responsible for her death here. I wonder if he feels bad. That evening, he walks into Helen's bedroom to talk. We learned some big news in this scene. Helen was assaulted all the time by her father. Her father touched her inappropriately before the monster killed him. She starts kissing the doctor, and she starts letting him touch her. The lights dim, and wow.
Helen?
You said if you want to get better, you have to trust Dr. Winters.
Help me!
If you want to be a good little girl, you have to let Daddy touch you. Monsters deserve monsters, Dr. Winters, not little girls.
Then she calls her mom and reports she's coming home. The title of this one is Shadow Puppets, and I like that they included the concept of the shadow from analytical psychology. The shadow is the unconscious aspect of the personality that does not correspond with the ego ideal. This leads the ego to resist and project. So in other words, the shadow is the self's emotional blind spot. Carl Jung, the daddy of this work, suggested that the shadow can appear in dreams or visions and may take various forms such as monster or demons, much like what we're seeing here. This archetype is the darker side of the psyche, representing wildness, chaos, and the unknown. and these latent dispositions are present in all of us, according to Jung. So remember to be nice to those around you. Everyone is capable of horrors. This episode gets a 9.5 out of 10 for the show, The Hitchhiker. This one stands out to me as a fun and spooky one. It did a wonderful job at having a mental health setting without being super cringeworthy, especially for the time it was made. I'm thankful young people understand mental health is no different than physical health, and that it's much less stigmatized than it once was, at least in some regions. This episode was very well written, much better than a lot of the other episodes in this series. I highly recommend watching the entire episode if you haven't already, as there's some interesting nuance that I didn't have the time to cover here entirely. The acting and the set locations were so good as usual with this show. I'm not a tough critic, especially if it looks and sounds good, and it made me happy. What more can I really ask for? I hope you all are doing well. Thanks, patrons, for everything. I couldn't do it without you. Be well and stay spooky.